Hey guys, Fikod here, and I suppose guys and girls I should be saying, because I looked at my YouTube analytics, as you call them, statistics, and apparently a large part of my viewer base is teenage females, which I didn't expect. I'm not suggesting every single person has told the truth when they set up Google. I mean, there's probably a lot of 70-year-old men watching saying they're 13-year-old girls, but anyway, that's beside the point. Today is the big video that I've been advertising all week. Now I know I said on my previous video further on in the week that I wasn't going to upload till Saturday, and today is Saturday when I'm uploading this. I'm not recording it on Saturday, I'll be uploading it. And I know I did post 2 videos in between, but I really like making videos, so I'm sorry about that. But before this video gets started, I have to warn you, it's going to be a relatively long one, like my sort of first few videos, around 10 to 20 minutes long. Really getting into the nitty gritty. We're going to be talking about the future of Destiny in 2017, the April update, the almost inevitable April update, and the returning of Vault of Glass, Crota's End, and maybe even some sort of Prison of Elders remake. Now, can I just say, if you guys like this video, could you please subscribe and drop a like right now before we get started? Okay, so straight away, ever since we started getting bored of King's Fall after Taken King came out, we've been saying, why don't they bring the raids back? You know, they have this really amazing content, you know, some of the best content in the game, Vault of Glass and Crota's End, that you can play for fun, I guess, but it, you know, there is no point playing it. It doesn't add anything to your character, and Destiny players are really focused on progression, so to speak. Bungie up to this point have only really said they're absolutely considering bringing back the old raids, and I think they know well enough that's exactly what we want at this moment in time. They know that this is the content we wanted for a while, and the only content we haven't actually had brought up to max level, other than like the original story missions and stuff, is the 2 raids. I believe Pocket Infinity, the Pulse Rifle, but also the 2 raid exotics, Necrochasm and Vex Mythoclast. Now, as you see this gameplay here, from the relic mechanic, which has come from the Datto Strike. I don't actually know the name. I'll put it on screen. The Circular Room one. They've brought that mechanic in the updated. They've updated the Nexus with this mechanic, which then leads on to a mechanic that is stripped directly out of the Vault of Glass, which you'll see in a second. And now, my theory for this is Destiny has undeniably become more casual. Banner drops are easier to get. Trials drops are easier to get. It's easier to get to max light. The raid is a lot easier. They're just trying to make the game a lot more accessible to the, not necessarily casuals, but the wider player base. You know, things like 3 of coins and all that are just evidence, really. As you can see, I'm stood on the plate now and it's loading. This is actually how you get into the Vault of Glass, in case you haven't played it, because I know a lot of people haven't. I think that's Bungie's concern. And I think with them making it more casual, Bungie know very well that there's a large amount of the player base that joined either after Taken King or with Rise of Iron, which is my opinion why they opened up the doors. I'll link my video in the description where I speculate about those doors opening up in the tower, because I think they just want people to be able to get that ghost that's in there who might have joined after Rise of Iron to be able to get max more. But anyway, I digress. My point is, they know there's a lot of people that use Spark of Light and maybe just skimmed over all of the original story and things, maybe skipped it out, because I think they did include the Sparks of Light and stuff, so people could do that, because the original game wasn't that brilliant, the story. There's a lot of people that, one, never played Vault of Glass, and probably never will unless they bring it back, and also people that never played the Eye of the Gate Lords. They don't know how the mechanics work. So I think in them adding these mechanics into the strike is almost teaching people how to sort of play Vault of Glass for when they bring it back. They don't want to bring it back and then you've got this huge chunk of the player base that are just running around doing it fine, and then a whole other player base that's just like, I have no idea how to do this. Because at the end of the day, I think Bungie know that we have a really good community in this Destiny community, but there's plenty of people that really don't have the patience at this point in time. You know, it's probably hard for someone, if you haven't done a raid, Wrath Machine at this point, that someone would run through it with you. But so introducing these mechanics, which you'll see in this one, this is the Taken version of the End of the Nexus. The Nexus has 2 ends, where you can see there's the relic holder there. This is another mechanic from Vault of Glass. It is the I'm just going to call it shield mechanic, I guess, to be simple. And it's the mechanic for the Templar fight, where one person picks up the shield, takes down the shields, and then everyone else can damage. As you'll see in the gameplay just here, I'll just go quiet so you can watch. So it takes down his shields, and then putting this in a strike has made it not only less pressure, but it's much easier for someone to learn this mechanic than actually in a raid setting. And I believe this is them sort of, everyone can play this strike. You don't need 6 players. You can play this in like an heroic strike playlist. So this is available to everyone. And I think they've done this. So as I've said before, just a minute ago, when this April update comes out, people will know what to do. And now this is the other version of the Templar fight, where it's just the ordinary Templar. Also bringing, oh sorry, not the Templar, the Nexus. Also bringing the Nexus back means that there is an excuse for them to bring other Vault of Glass bosses back, and I think also making them Takenified is also an excuse to make the Vault of Glass Takenified, because obviously the Taken know about it, and plus the story missions to do with the Vault of Glass. And as you just saw in that gameplay, the cleansing mechanic has also been bought from Vault of Glass, so again the larger player base can understand what that is. And so what happens is you get, we're going to use basic terms here, you get infected, and then you run to these cleansing pools and it cleans you of your infection, so you're no longer marked. And again, the reason that is so people understand, and this is just more and more evidence suggesting that Bungie really do want everyone to kind of understand Vault of Glass by the time it comes out. Now Bungie have not confirmed it's coming out, but they've teased a plenty of things, and we have seen a lot of screenshots and things of, there's the cleansing mechanic again, we've seen a lot of screenshots of made possible weapons coming out, and I put them on screen, and obviously they turned out to be fake, those weapon screenshots. There was the ones for Crota's End and the taken ones from Vault of Glass, which are really cool, but there's also screenshots which I don't think have been debunked yet, of people loading into a 370 Vault of Glass raid, and that'll be on screen as well. So it does show that it wouldn't be hard for Bungie to implement them. The story would fit, and plus I don't think many of us really care that much. I think we like to have like a loose link between why the Vault of Glass has come back or whatever, but it would be really nice to have some sort of in-depth story link, but I'm not asking for that if it means we'd only get one of the raids. I think I'd rather probably have both the raids. But that is just my opinion. Obviously a lot of you guys are probably like deeper lore. But now I'm going to move on to why I think the Crota raid is coming back. Now, just to mention before I move on, if you guys could leave a like for this. I hope you guys have enjoyed this so far. If you have, subscribe, because I make content like this as frequently as possible. You know, I don't monetize my videos. I'm just doing this for fun, and I'm posting a few times a week. And in this video I've changed it. I've left the gameplay volume on so slightly. Normally I have it completely off. Tell me if you like that change. If not, just comment or dislike if you feel necessary. But if you dislike or like this video, tell me why, so I can improve or keep doing what I'm doing. So yeah, anyway, I'll move on to why I think Crota's End is coming back. Crota's End wasn't everybody's favourite raid. I almost called it a strike then, which I know a lot of people think it was more close to a strike than a raid. But personally, before I move on to why I think it's coming back, I think if it does come back, Bungie will fix all the faults, and I think it could be a very, very good raid. I think they'll fix the way you can just solo it so easy, that they might add more in-depth mechanics, and I think that's why I'm more excited to see Crota's End than Vault of Glass, because I really want to see a Crota's End that isn't too easy. Now I'll probably eat my words when I jump on or try to solo it myself, because I probably couldn't. But my point is, I think Bungie really know where they went wrong, and I think if it does come back, it could be very good. So with the Dawning, along with getting the Nexus Strike, we got a Crota Strike, a Will of Crota Strike to be exact, which is Omnigul. The Omnigul Strike was updated kind of just to repair the fight. They close the doors and make it a more up-to-date, you know, it has fallen splicers in it as enemies, it has that new sort of poison fog thing that we got with the Dawning. I don't know if that was a thing before, I don't remember ever seeing it until we got the Rise of Iron. So the reason for bringing Omnigul back is, I'm not going to lie to you, it's quite flimsy. And now they might elaborate within lore if they ever bring Crota's End back. But Nathan Fillion as Cade 6 said these words: Omnigul has undone her death. And that's really all we get. Now, as charming as Nathan Fillion is, I don't think he was quite enough to let me say, you know what, who cares? Because I do kind of care of why she might have come back. It would have been interesting, but I'm sure we'll find out if Crota comes back. Some quests would be nice if the new raids come back, just a couple of introduction quests, so hopefully that'd be a thing. That'd be really nice. I'm digressing. Omnigul undid her death. So for me, if Bungie are going to use that for Omnigul, that's pretty much a good enough reason for Crota. Maybe Omnigul resurrected him or something. You know, we've had all this Crota soul stuff. Maybe us getting his essence of his soul, you know, revived him or whatever, something like that. I'm sure the writers at Bungie can think of something much better. Obviously, I didn't apply for the narrative director job. And if you're wondering what that reference was to, it was to a video when I described the new positions open at Bungie. So I'll plug that video. I'll put that in the link in the description. Anyway, so with the Taken King, Bungie knew a lot of people would be joining. They knew a lot of people wouldn't have played any of Year 1, and they added a spark of light so people could pretty much skip Year 1, which means no Vault of Glass and no Crota. Or Prison of Elders, and I'll move on to that later on. So, Bungie added a little thing called Court of Oryx. Now, whether or not you played it, I'm sure you did at some point if you played during the Taken King, or grinded for Eris rank at any point. It was kind of like Archon's Forge. It was the original Archon's Forge, really. You just put a rune in and you grinded it out. They added a tier 3 boss called the Crota Fanatic. Now, most people just christened it, the community kind of christened it into the mini Crota. It was a very, actually I wouldn't even say it's a simple version, it was literally just the Crota fight, but on a really small scale. It wasn't, the mechanics were virtually exactly the same. You know, you pick up the sword, you slam him with the sword, you take down his shield, he'll kneel, and then the guy slams him with the sword. And in my opinion, they introduced that on such, again, a smaller scale like they do with the strikes. It's because it's accessible to more people. And more people can play that, and more people have learnt the Crota mechanic. Now, it was funny when I first played Court of Oryx and I went in and people just had no idea how to do it. And that's fine, because I think I only did Crota a few times myself. I didn't really get into raiding and stuff until later on, in just before Taken King. So, but a lot of people just really didn't know what to do, and it was quite funny, but I'm sure everyone's learned to a point now. So I think that's, again, Bungie making an easily accessible, almost tutorial for Crota in case they bring it back, which I think they will, which is the point of this video. Just in case I made it clear, I do think they're both coming back. I do think a possible Challenge of Elders thing is coming back, and I'll get onto that later. So, we have Omnigul coming back, is an excuse for Crota coming back. We also have the Court of Oryx, kind of basically tutorial, and I think that is enough indication that Bungie want people to know how to play it. They want a reason to bring it back, and they want people to be able to play it with ease, virtually, with the new updated mechanics. I think they want everyone to be at a certain level of understanding, and then introduce new enough mechanics so even the players that have played it all the raids 1,000 times won't exactly know what they're doing that well. But in my opinion, I have a really good idea of how, just in case people didn't even play the Court of Oryx, how they could introduce people to learn the Crota mechanic. And now Bungie, if you're listening, which I'm sure you are, with all like 30 views I get on my videos, I'm sure every single one is a Bungie developer, a female Bungie developer according to my statistics. But if you are listening, or anyone's listening, I think this is a good idea, and you can give your opinions if you want. I'm happy to accept opinions. You know, opinion is opinion. You know, no one should get angry over them, but for some reason some people do. So please don't scream at me. But I think a really good idea would be maybe there be an Eris quest just telling you why Crota's back, send you on a couple of rehashed story missions maybe, send you on the Will of Crota strike, then send you by Eris Morn to go and fight the Crota Fanatic, and then you're allowed to do the Crota's End raid. I think that would be brilliant. And I think also they could do that with the Vault of Glass. Send you to go and play the Nexus Strike. Because most people would have already played them, but maybe they'll put the relation together if they're told that it's linked. So I think that could be an easy segue.
Suggests to me they're
into
literally
doing that, and I think just
giving
the fact
like an in-game
Bungie
tutorial
making all these mechanics
to the whole player
virtually
base,
open
anyone
to
that plays
anyone.
the game for more than 5 minutes.
How to play the content is obviously Bungie want us to play this content. They want everyone to experience this content because they know it's so good. We know it's so good, but a lot of people might not. But now, after I finish Crota, I'm going to go on to why I think some sort of Challenge of Elders, Prison of Elders rehash could come around, which is something I actually haven't heard many of the people talk about on YouTube. I've heard the Vault of Glass and Crota, and I would like to say I have been saying I'm going to make this video since my very first video ever, since my first ever video on YouTube, which, God, it's about a month now since I started doing YouTube, so it's been my first month. I think I've hit 1,000 views in that month as well, or just under, somewhere about. But yeah, I've been saying I'm going to make this, and I know since that time a lot of YouTubers have made videos on it, which is really annoying. Like, I was saying this, I'm not saying that obviously they watched my content and stole the idea. I just was talking about this a lot before I heard other people talk about it. But I was just kind of waiting for the dawning hype to die down. And now, like, YouTubers like Bife and stuff have made videos, and that's just a little bit upsetting for me. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I did take some points from their videos. I didn't steal them, I just took a little bit for inspiration, so that kind of helped me. But anyway, digressing. As you may or may not know, this area, sort of the back garden, I guess we're going to call it, of the tower has been opened. I will link my video. It's literally about a minute long. If you want to watch it, just learn about it a little bit. It's virtually just me announcing it. This opened up. This, for me, gave me a little bit of an idea as to why they might open this area up. I don't have any Challenge of Elders gameplay, so I thought I'd just do some Archon's Forge. I mean, that's killing Fallen, so I thought that'd be fine. But only 2 events have been held in the backyard of the tower, which from the start of Destiny I've been disappointed with. I think lots more events should have come. I was under the impression there were going to be lots of events, but there's only ever been Queen's Wrath and Iron Banner before Iron Banner moved to Felwinter's Peak and before the Queen died. So I know that's quite extreme, but they're the only 2 events that have been held there. Obviously Iron Banner has moved to Felwinter's Peak, like I said, and we've had Rise of Iron, so I don't think that's going to be touched on. I think, again, obviously, I think personally the only reason they've opened that is so you can get the Ghost, and because why not? But also, a lot of people think it's teasing a future event, and I personally think maybe an upgraded Queen's Wrath. I am going to make a video later on, which is another video I've been advertising for a while, probably end of the month or February, about the event system in Destiny, how I think it could be revamped, and a few new ideas for the event system, and a few ideas for just events in general, like new events. They could create some sort of segue event into Destiny 2, which would be really good, or a segue event into the April update that they would bring around, called maybe Queen's Vengeance, because as far as we know as Guardians, the Queen's dead. I don't think she is actually dead, but I think, like, for all like intensive purposes, she's dead for Destiny 1. But I don't think her character's like dead. There's probably some lore thing that means she's still alive. I mean, she looked pretty dead. She fell over and it blew up. But anyway, so for all intents and purposes, the Queen's dead. Maybe they could have a sort of event that leads us into Destiny 2, because I think the Queen should have a larger focus in Destiny 2 if we're carrying on in this kind of universe, unless it's going to be like a prequel, or the sequel's going to be set so many years in the future that the city's destroyed, or a few years in the future. If it's literally going to carry on, I think the Queen needs to take a huge, like, bigger role. So I think maybe you could segue us in by saying Queen's Vengeance, and we run around, you know, killing all the Fallen in the Prison of Elders, and send us maybe on a possible King's Fall kill to go and kill Oryx, in maybe an updated Oryx, but that, in my opinion, that's a bit unlikely, but that would be cool. That would be a huge surprise. I don't think anyone's even expected that. even thought about that. It could be Queen's Vengeance, and it sends us on a Challenge of Elders remake, and if they made an April update with Crota's End and Vault of Glass, that'd be really cool, and that'd be amazing. Like, we'd love that. But maybe then a segue update, you know, around E3 before Destiny 2, where it's Queen's Vengeance and they bring back Prison of Elders and King's Fall, which I think would be awesome. Actually, that'd be so cool. I really can't get over that idea. That's really cool. But anyway, so you could have a quests to get us involved back in with the Queen again, and do Queen's missions, Queen's bounties again, and maybe that backyard could be open so we could have the Queen's Wrath vendor back, and she'd be permanently there, and they could decorate it all up to be like the Queen or whatever. And that's kind of my only idea. I mean, we had a Fallen Strike, a Hive Strike, and a Vex Strike, which are the 3 raids. You know, well, we've had the Hive, which was Crota, the Vex, which was Vault of Glass, and Taniks, the Fallen Strike, for Challenge of Elders. I mean, that kind of makes sense. You know, I don't know how the hell Taniks came back. I don't think that was actually explained, or it might have been explained. I'm just a dum-dum, I didn't listen. But Taniks came back somehow, so why couldn't Skolas come back again? I mean, he came back in Challenge of Elders, so why not send us back into the Prison of Elders? And maybe, just maybe, you know, they missed out the opportunity on strike scoring, they missed out on Challenge of Elders. Maybe they could make a new version of Challenge of Elders which had leaderboards, but obviously maybe not, because that'd be far too hard for Bungie. Of course I'm joking, I actually don't know how hard it is. But I'm sure Bungie can think of something really cool and really well written into Destiny as to why they're bringing everything back. I think I just threw off some ideas off the top of my head. This video is very much improvised. It had a few bullet points on a piece of paper that I was following, and I thought of some decent ideas in my eyes. Maybe you guys have better ideas. Please comment or leave feedback. I know it's sometimes a bit embarrassing for me when I ask for feedback and I just don't get any comments. You know, I've got a good amount of likes on my videos, but I get no comments, and that's sometimes a little bit upsetting. So if you're still watching now, a comment, and I screwed up here in Archon's Forge. But if you're still watching to this point, please drop a like, it'd mean a lot. Subscribe, because I've got a lot more videos like this, and some of my shorter, more quick, informative. This is a bit of a huge ramble actually, it's 20 odd minutes, good god. So this is probably the last video I'll do that's 20 minutes long for a while. But anyway, thanks for watching the video, guys. Subscribe to get more content like this. Like if you liked it, dislike if you didn't, and tell me why. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye. That's a really, that's really weird. Bye bye. No, that's too serious.